again? Can you hear me?
What up, man?
Check out my dancer. Check it out. What's up?
What's going on? Finally get this live thing going.
Yeah, we got absolutely nothing to say. We got nothing to offer
Like
the
that
world. Dude, seriously.
Rare earth minerals are spiking.
That's your workspace there?
Yeah.
Killing me. So what's up, man? It doesn't look like anybody wants to jump on and give us any questions.
So where's the chat window?
You should have it there.
Oh, shit. Oh, it is. Where's everybody? Taking your questions.
Looks like I got a good stream. Yeah.
So what do you want to kick it off with? So what's going on with you, man?
Not much, just trying to stay warm. It's been cold as hell here. It's
Yeah.
like one of the, especially with the, with the pandemic stuff and the lockdown and all that. And then we got the smoke from the fires over the summer. Like half of the summer, we couldn't even go outside because dangerous air or whatever.
Right.
And then I got like a week of fall and went straight into to winter. And then about 2
it's
weeks
like
ago,
switched up, right? There's no spring, no fall.
No, that was like 2 weeks
One or
ago.
the other.
We went straight into to spring
Forever.
for like 55 degrees for 2 days, and then all of a sudden got like 9 inches of snow.
Yeah.
It's a mess, man. What's up, Ray? How you doing? Opening up the question and answer line. We could talk about our ever-changing bodies. We could talk about music, maybe coffee, homebrew beer. I don't know what you got back there. I know you've been working on something. I mean, you've been keeping busy in the lab there. I saw something you posted recently that you got a 3D printer.
Yeah. I got a few.
What's that all about? I mean, what do you plan?
So,
You gonna make a girlfriend or what?
No, it's just like always chasing a dream of doing something. I just have too many ideas and, not enough time really to implement. But yeah, the 3D printers are getting pretty damn cheap now. And coming back in the day when I was messing with them first with like Rep project.
Right.
You can actually build things now, not spend all your days like trying to tweak and calibrate. So yeah, I've got, here, I'll show you. Let's see if I can pull this off. And I'm looking at the screen. So I've got like these two over here, and these are the Ender 3 V2s that got off Amazon. And they're like $300 a pop. And I got two of the same so that my son has one and I have one. And then the plan is we'll just, start kicking out widgets, ideas for stuff.
Nice.
He's taken Onshape, like design 3D CAD stuff in junior high, 7th grade. Imagine that.
Nice.
Did you take drafting?
Yeah, I took drafting, and
That
that was the only reason I went to school.
I never got my arrows.
Dude,
I would.
the teacher was this old 50s greaser that was this old cholo, and I went to an all-white school that was like pretty in pink, seriously. And we were the dregs of the school, so it was interesting because the drafting teacher was this old cholo named Mr. Lopez, who had like the greasiest grease. I mean, this dude every day, suit, shirt. I mean, it looked like he
Like straight up Edward
totally,
James.
totally. He was like, dude, he had it creased down. I mean, this guy was locked down. His hair, nothing was out of place. And
Yeah.
if it wasn't for him, honestly, I wouldn't even bother going to school. He made it interesting. I took drafting with him.
Really?
Yeah. Oh man, I'm freezing
Oh.
again. Come on. I don't know what's up with this
Turn the
camera.
heat.
No, it's this camera.
I see all this.
It's this camera keeps.
Is the hammer?
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is, but anyways, look, it would be some stupid thing, and then all of us is gonna come back, and boom, there it is, all of a sudden. So, anyways, so yeah, I took drafting. I had the little template
Nice.
for the arrows, but yeah, that was the only thing that kept me going to school. So,
What was it I found recently? Well, it was. Do you remember this?
hey, I still have one right here.
You still got your
I got one
Sedlar?
around here somewhere.
These things are very useful.
Yeah, I still got mine around here somewhere.
It's the scale's kind of funny, but it makes a perfect straight edge when you're trying to like align stuff.
You got anything
So-
going? What do you got going music wise? I mean, I know you're always building something there in the shop. You always got something going, but I mean, you got anything?
You know, so I started on that project. I played you a little bit of it. It was for the Minor Effects project. And when I was up in Seattle, I met up with Jesse, who is the singer of Minor Effects. And we put this thing together, and we've got like an album, and we're starting to release singles, you know, just virtually. And we had one festival lined up, and things were like
Same one that I was
in the
lined
right
up for.
direction. The one, yeah. And so actually another one came along too, and then that got shut down too. But yeah, everything's just like kind of in a freeze, and I'm at this place where like, okay, do we just put this album out, and just like let it go flop in the winds? I really don't want to do that, so just kind of in a holding pattern. But that was taking up a lot of the time, and it's one of the things I was most proud of lately doing.
Nice. So I mean,
So
yeah, I was kind of thinking. I was sitting there earlier, just kind of thinking, how the hell did we meet? I mean, I can't remember. I think it was Chris Hyde, wasn't it?
it was Chris Hyde.
Because I worked with Chris.
So I was doing some script.
I worked
Yeah.
with Chris at Beat Non-Stop, and I remember that because then Chris brought you over to my loft, wasn't it, in Long Beach?
Right.
And we ended up doing that 7 record.
Right. Which was like, I think we did all 3 takes of that. I brought like 2 of those SH101s,
Yeah.
had them on stands, and I had that
Yeah.
that whole that was a lot of fun. I think I had a 202 with me too. And then yeah, I really like that record.
It's funny because
It's a lot of fun.
it still does really well on Bomb Records. I mean, it's one of the ones that it was like one of those sleepers. And for those of you that don't know, if you go to Bomb Records on Bandcamp, you'll find the record that we're talking about, which is 7. It's produced by Kenneth and Chris Hyde and myself, and that took place in the course of one night. That whole record. I mean, like you said, we did 3 takes, I think, live. We just, you and Chris and me were on the board, punching in and out, muting stuff, and
Did you have the Topaz
I
then?
had the Topaz, the soundtrack's Topaz, and that's what I was trying to tell
Yeah.
someone the other day. It's like, the way that we put a lot of that stuff together. I mean, because people are always asking me all the time if I've got, parts for the for remixes and stuff.
No, man, we
I was
don't.
like, all that stuff that we did, it was like push record on the DAT,
On my dad. Yeah.
and everything was just like we played it out live, and yeah, I mean it's funny because everybody's always asking for parts and things like that, for
I don't
stems
even
and
think we
remixes.
bothered. I don't ever think we bothered mastering the shit either.
Yeah, it was just that sounds good.
It was just like straight to dad. There you go.
My dog's trying to get into some stuff. But get over here. I'll kill you.
Sleep.
Oh, sorry, PETA. Anyways, no, I mean that's the funny thing is like, all that stuff. They were just like one takes on a DAT, and that was it. There's nothing to go back into and try to pull those out and try to reproduce that stuff.
Yeah.
God, let me see. Somebody put it on. I think actually somebody put it on. I saw it on YouTube the other day. Can you hear that? No, it's not coming through.
No, I can't.
Yeah.
If you type in 7 E's, it comes right up though.
And I think, like you said, 3 of those mixes, we did like one take in one night, and then
actually, and I think you did one more.
Yeah, I did one more that I did basically after, just kind of took some of the parts and stuff and what we were already doing and just kind of reworked it. But
yeah,
it's funny because you go back and I have all the master files for those, but there's not. I mean, shoot, that's back when we were still using like Steinberg Cubase, and I think Dr. T or whatever else it was. A lot of that stuff. That stuff I was sequencing.
KCS.
Yeah, I was sequencing on the MPC 3000 and just that's it. There were floppy disks, MIDI files, sequences, and that was it. We were punching those things in live. We were muting and whatnot, and a lot of that stuff was just straight up record to DAT, and that was it. And I think, God, that was what? That's 30 years ago, man. 25, 30 years ago.
I think it was 95, 96 maybe. Because I remember that because I did Germs that we put out, and that was like 96. And I had Freaks ready to go. Was that the first Control Team?
Had you started doing Control Team yet, or was that still in the works?
No. I think I was. It's like we worked on that, and that kind of set some things in motion. But the takeaway from that was it kind of taught me to just kind of let go a little bit and just let it roll. Like that whole. I think you. Was it something you said that Josh had told you one time? He's like, dude, you got to do a track a day.
That was Josh.
Was it Josh? It was Josh. It was it was just all that, the whole track a day mentality. I got so dialed in at once that I was doing 4 a day in my prime,
right.
And I look back on a lot of that stuff and could use some better mastering, but the vibe was there.
And I think that's the thing. Ray Aguilar, my boy from Texas. What's up, Ray? If you're still on, he was asking if we collaborated on as Sunkiss, and that was my next project was after we had met, when we had done a couple things, and then that's when I moved back to Orange County and basically locked you up. Locked you up for a month in my studio.
Well, actually, what happened with that, and dude, I mean, I actually think that time in my life was really difficult because I was hitting so many walls.
What?
Like getting going, and I called you and I was like, dude, I've got my shit packed. It's like I'm gonna take a detour from this, and you're like, nah, man, just come down.
You literally came and stayed for a month.
Yeah.
I mean, down you were living.
Well, I was driving back.
You were living in Burbank.
Yeah, driving back and forth, but we had that was a cool spot. We had some cool cats running through, and
I think Hector was living with me.
With Matt Guitar Murphy.
Scott got to take a smoke break every 20 minutes. Wants to make a track, but he had to stop every 20 minutes for him to go have a cigarette. Man, that shit drove me crazy. That's why I could never work with smokers. And then you ended up being a smoker.
Yeah, well, I let go
The
of
funny
it
thing was,
eventually.
like I said, it's that's Kim was my agent at the time, and she recommended it. She's like, just lock yourself up and just do some stuff, and then see what comes out of it. And we ended up
Right.
doing, out of that whole month of work, we ended up
Like 20 tracks.
doing the Peacefrog stuff, the first Peacefrog single that we did. We did the Peacefrog single out of that. The Sunkiss album came out of that. The second Peacefrog thing, the album.
Yeah.
There was tracks on my album. Well, they billed as my album that you collaborated on.
Yeah.
And then there was stuff for Michael.
The Aqua Boogie. We get that too, right?
Yeah, that was the Aqua Boogie, and I think, yeah, what else was there?
I don't know. There's other stuff
Yeah, I mean,
somewhere.
there was
We had like Plaque USA, other plastic
right,
stuff.
Plastic
Others.
USA. I mean, there was a lot of stuff that came out of that month of work that we just sat down and went at it. But that's the thing. You were talking about how you changed your approach and your mentality, because I remember you coming in and I'd just start going at it, and I'd have like basically the foundation of the track done. And then you'd sit there for like 2 hours tweaking a hi-hat pattern. And I'd go watch South Park or something in the
And a
meantime.
lot of times, yeah, exactly.
And I mean, that's the thing that's like, you had to like learn how to work, was that I didn't do anything right, and you tried to think. Yeah,
Oh,
you tried to
did.
think things too hard. You tried to think through things too hard, and like try to like perfect.
But I think it was a good, a good
Well, yeah,
partnership, because
you brought in
I know you for me too.
you brought
Yeah.
in stuff that you made it more detailed, where I didn't take the time to make it too detailed. And there's little things like if you look at that first Sunkiss, Niebla. No, I'm sorry, not the Sunkiss, the Peacefrog. Look at the first Peacefrog thing that we did, that single. I mean, there's some really cool shit on there. And I mean, you could tell where there's my signature and then there's you, but it was more like the foundation was mine, but you can hear your touch in the details, and like the little shit that you would think to change up, that's like, I'd have just left that shit go, but you would
Right.
cut it up and you would alternate it so it wasn't.
But also the melody, like I'm like that. I always came from that side. I came from like more traditional, compositional approach to, like more techno poppy kind of shit.
Right. No, and that's the funny thing, is that when we brought it together, it's like you had to learn to be a little bit more ghetto, and I had to be a little bit more patient.
Well, I definitely became more ghetto staying at your
Yeah,
place.
that's for sure. The
No, actually, your place was nice down there. I should talk
yeah,
shit.
but we still got a lot of color in going to the top.
You know
of the
what?
plate.
Though? It was laborious. Apart from just staying up late, taking the drive back and forth, it was just like fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then
it was a good. That gave me the recharge I needed to continue.
yeah, definitely.
And then, it helps when we're moving stuff and things are getting released too. It's just when you start getting like a large catalog of stuff that, it's hard to shop when, labels are starting to fold around you.
Right, and that's the thing. It was kind of like at a time for both of us that we just, we both kind of launched, or we kind of pushed, our careers. We went separate ways after that for a while, and it worked out for both of us. It kind of set us, gave us a foundation and moved from there.
Yeah.
And it's funny
Yeah,
because we
for
find
sure.
ourselves coming back all this time later and thinking maybe we should do it again, because it's kind of one of those times where it's like, maybe this is what I need, that kick in the ass. But there's no way in hell
Yeah,
I'm going
exactly.
over there and working in that. You got to clean that shit up.
Wait, what? Over here? Well, this? Yeah, it cleans nicely.
No, I mean,
It cleans nicely.
it.
You know what I want to do though? For like my dream thing is to get like rent an RV and then just fucking go camp on some mountain somewhere, like where it's temperate,
I bought the RV for
and
that
just
reason.
fucking do that. Oh, okay.
It's
Well, that's so, get some shit set up and then just sit there and just crank shit out. Like, just kind of like introduce, like,
well, there's
you
actually a
know,
channel. Somebody on Facebook. I can't remember who it was. Sorry if I don't remember on Facebook, guys. Um, somebody had mentioned there's a channel on YouTube. This couple, they're actually DJs. Who isn't? Um, who bought an RV, and they did it right before the pandemic kicked in LA, and they got out and they actually came up to Northern Idaho. I guess one of them's from here originally, but they built a studio in their RV. They refurbished the RV. It got an old RV, not one of those tow logs, one of those ones you drive, and they refurbished it,
right.
remodeled it, and it came out pretty cool. They made a little studio in there, and it's pretty sick. If you look it up on YouTube, I can't remember offhand, but it's a really cool channel, and they go through and they show their workflow and stuff and how they work on the road and just different situations. But it's pretty cool. It's pretty inspiring. I saw a guy. That's kind of what inspired me a while back. Was this guy on YouTube who was doing his regular podcast and radio show. He had a camper on his truck, but he also had a little trailer that he towed that he had completely converted with his power source and solar. Had a little radio station in there, basically a little studio. Go wherever, and he's just been driving around. Works from wherever, and yeah, I mean it's pretty cool. And I mean now it's like you think about it, it's just what's to stop you? We're basically working from home, or most of us, or we're working in different ways now, and it's like I just had that conversation with someone earlier today. Why not? You don't have to be. You don't have to go to work just because you have to be somewhere just because of the work. Now you can pretty much work from anywhere, and hell, I'm all for it, man. I got the modular, suitcase and a couple things, and that's all you need. I mean, we've proved it in the past. You don't need a lot of crap.
Yeah, I don't need
I mean, at one point, we narrowed it down to three pieces, which was the three box system, which,
the 3 box solution.
box solution, which was the MPC, the EMU sampler, and the Ensoniq DP4 effects unit. And honestly, that in a mixer was.
Plus, there was a plus on eBay recently.
I can't find one. I'm still trying to find one.
No, I found one on eBay just recently.
I've been looking back and forth on eBay constantly for
DP4.
I mean, that's for you guys that don't know. DP4 and Ensoniq DP4 is like the god of effects units, and pretty much anybody. If you want that sound, you're not going to get it from plugins. You got to go to Ensoniq DP4 and get yourself one of those, and you're going to replicate the old school effects and whatnot. But I mean, my EMU sampler and the MPC 3000 was it. That's all you needed. That and a mixer, and basically you're good to go anywhere in the world. I mean, that's the thing now. I get a lot of people always asking me about, setup on live and plugins and effects and stuff, and outboard and hardware and all this stuff. I mean, honestly, it's like whatever inspires you, man. It could be one box. I think, like I said, we got it down to a couple simple boxes. I mean, right now I'm playing around with my Akai, my MPC Live, and I mean, that in itself, it takes me back to the MPC, but now obviously with modern integration and stuff. But I mean, that by itself, and it's battery powered, so you can unplug that sucker like a laptop and work from it without being plugged in anywhere. And I mean, it's a matter of what inspires you. I mean, you're constantly throwing. I see I froze again. That damn camera's pissing me off. But I mean, you're always looking up and staying on top of new gear. I mean, what's inspiring you right now?
I have to say, man, unlike a lot of people, I've always appreciated the value in Behringer stuff.
Okay, the hate's gonna come.
Hate. See, I don't give shit. Like, I think that Uli's, I think he's a cool guy doing some cool shit. I think to take the risk that he's doing right now to provide like all this, clones. I mean, the CS80, if they hit that, that's going to be a monster. No one's trying to make a CS80.
That used to be, going back to plugins, that used to be one of my favorite, Arturia plugins. I mean, that thing.
Yeah. Still. Yeah.
If you hear this, Russ, this is not sponsored, but Entenmann's cupcakes, which are far better than Hostess. The real deal. Get
Yeah.
yourself an Entenmann's next time you're at the. There you can find them at the end of the aisle. Entenmann's. All right. So, anyways, you were saying about Oli and the
It's not
CS80.
like it's not an Entenmann's brownie,
Nah,
like a pot brownie.
It's
You got there?
it's a cupcake, like the Hostess ones, but far better, superior. The Hostess ones,
Oh, okay.
they're trash. This is the real deal. Anyways, going back to Behringer, that CS80, I'm excited for that. I mean, gonna get a lot of hate
Yeah.
for the Behringer, but I mean,
I don't know why. I think they're doing a bang up job. I've got this TD3 here. I've got two of the MS1s. I got a red and a blue. And they're also doing some of the Eurorack stuff, which I haven't touched yet, but that's next on the list. But I think I'd rather have. I think I'd rather have 4 MS1s than one 101, because that's about what it costs. I think to get an original 101. And when you've had all that shit,
right? And you've had all that.
we had
We've owned all-
101s, had the 202s. You know why they never made a
What's
404?
that?
Because 4 is death in Japanese.
Is it?
Yeah. It's kind of like the 13th floor, I guess. There's like no 4th floor. Actually,
That's-
don't quote me on that one. I think that's the case, though.
No,
But yeah,
that's the thing. You've
all that
pretty
stuff.
much owned all that stuff. I mean, like people, they
Yeah.
idolize and they make demigods out of these boxes like the 909. I hated the 909. I owned a 909. I owned an 808. I hated the 909. I hated it. I mean, it's like I use 909 sounds, but it's like once you locked me into that
Yeah.
set of sounds, I wasn't interested. That's when we were
Yeah.
putting in stuff on the MPC 3000 and cutting it up. I mean,
Yeah.
we did with like house music or techno, whatever you want to label it now these days. What
Right.
what the hip hop guys were doing. Guys like Jay Dilla and all these other guys who were cutting up, resampling, reusing. I mean, we would use like the tail end of a drum sound. The effect, the tail,
Right.
and make a sound out of that. I mean, and make something complete.
Right.
And that's the thing. You can't do stuff like that with a 909. I mean, I had the TR8, and I got rid of that real quick because it was the same philosophy. You're locked in. You're locked into.
Yeah.
I did get the TR8S, which I think makes it interesting because now I can cut my stuff up that I use in my tracks, and if I want to do live,
Yeah.
now I can throw them into the TR8 and get the TR8S and get that same sort of platform.
I just wish they would kind of revert back to the older styling. Like I'm not into this whole like this green mini LED fucking. It's like every rolling gear is like case mod now.
disco in the background.
Yeah, like with the fucking disco shit, it just cheeses it out. Super cheeses it out. Like 909, it's pretty odd. White box.
But that's
Metal.
but you're talking about a
Clunky.
Prozac generation that needs to be constantly entertained. So
Yeah.
they got to have little.
It's like everything's miniaturized. It's like take the scale, right? Bring it down to a third, and then call it the millennial edition.
And they have the audacity to.
It's in a
And they have
backpack.
the audacity to slag on Behringer.
Yeah, exactly. At least, yeah, that's the other thing. But yeah, I mean, these things they're built like tanks. I mean, I've been telling you. I told you when I got the first one. Yeah, I'm a big fan, and it's got distortion and everything built in. Whatever. This isn't a Behringer commercial. This is the it's promo.
We were talking about getting together again, getting the band back together.
Yeah, getting the band. I was talking to the guys over at
Plastic City, by the way, people. Plastic City,
Germany. Yeah,
Mein Deutsch
And,
ist sehr schlecht. Go ahead, sorry.
all right.
That's like the only German I know left. I used to speak the hell out of German when we were traveling over there every weekend. I mean, I could say "pay me now, mofo" in like 5 different languages, like without thinking. Now I can barely, order a Coke and a sandwich. I did, but
Yeah, because it doesn't matter. They're not going to pay anyway.
exactly.
Oh,
So, anyways, you were saying you were talking about Plastic City, Germany.
yeah. So, yeah, we're just like going over just talking about all the old releases like Plaque USA, talking about how, because I had the Visage label and then I was with UCMG in New York. And then when that, after 9/11 hit, it was right there at John Street. So they had to shut down those offices and everything went to shit after that. So the Fiji label, Plaque USA, all that stuff. So they're reaching out, looking around they contacted me because they wanted to kind of reestablish, let's get like statements going. I think they're going to plan on doing some re-releases. So we'll see how that goes.
Their old catalog and see what they can milk for some more.
Yeah, why not?
Might as well.
Yeah.
It's a whole new generation. They'll be completely intrigued by the historical artifacts.
Yeah, it's like for us, it was like Marauder, right?
Right. No, that's, yeah, I mean, I'm
fun too. Yeah.
I'd be totally up for reuniting the band. It's just,
yeah, we should just get together, do a single. Well, I'll clean this place up and I'll fumigate if it makes it better. Hand you a soldering iron, put you to work.
Nice. No, that'd be cool. I think we should definitely plan on it. I've got some stuff I've been trying to finish or planning on finishing, but that's never gonna happen. I can't get motivated. There's no reason to. It's like, why? It's like people I see putting up, top 10 charts, and I'm like, for what? Who's paying attention? I mean, the top 10 record you played on your bedroom stream. I mean, I don't get it. I mean, that's why I have no interest in doing any DJ streams or any sort of. Yeah, I mean, I don't get it. I mean, the whole point, back in the day for doing charts was actually letting record companies know you were charting their records and you were giving them love and their records were working on the dance floor. But it's like, I don't get it. What's the point of it all now? I mean, it means nothing. It's just kind of a whatever. But yeah. Okay, I'll shut up. So, anyways, man.
Yeah, well, just to kind of follow along with that is that I think a lot of people got into making tracks solely for the purpose of promoting themselves as DJs.
Oh yeah,
and yeah, it was. Whereas I always took production. That was like my first love. The DJing was always secondary to me.
I always tell people I gave up DJing like 30 years ago, and they just kept dragging me into it by chance because of the productions. But in my mind, I was done DJing. I wasn't a DJ for you know what I'm saying? And it's just like by default. And now it's like, even if I was asked to DJ, I don't know what I would do. I don't even know if I would want to. I mean, it gets to a point where it's like you're overplaying other people's music. I mean, it's good music, but it doesn't hold that same charge that it does, say, performing or playing your own music. And I think that's where it's kind of gotten to the point now where it's got to be something different. The paradigm shifting. Everybody now is starting from zero. So regardless, you've got to find a way to kind of move forward and make it interesting, not just for yourself, but for people.
Right.
There's nothing interesting right now to me about a DJ set. It's just.
I think that's just. I mean, I think I said this to you the other day too. It's just that we're just like these old curmudgeons, like the grandpas that just go, "Oh, these kids don't know how to dance. Let me show them."
No, I mean it's
That's always the case. It's
yeah,
probably the
it is. I
case.
mean, it happens with every generation, as well, I guess, and we're just that generation that's going out. But you know, in my opinion, it's like show me 10 tracks that you can do better than I did, you know, and it's a thing.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know. I mean, I don't like to put it that way, but there's so much inflated ego, and I'm trying to understand why most people are famous and what they're famous for, and it's like I can name 5, 10 other people off, the top of my head that have done much more prolific work than most of the people that, most people would name today. And in all honesty, 10, 20 years from now, those works will still stand on their own. And it's like, most of this stuff is just so forgettable.
Yeah.
But we're coming up on,
Yeah. All it does too is just takes away. Well, I mean, things are so saturated as they are. That's just a given now.
no, that's the thing. It's like, you're going to have to see, it's,
But you're talking me out of this now. I don't think I want to get with you, dude.
well, making stuff on our own is something
No,
completely
dude,
different.
we just gotta do it to say, fuck it. This is, it's because it's who we are. It's what we do. It's what we've been here for forever.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just,
Keep doing the forever thing.
I try to give up on it. I try to not do it, and no matter what, it just, every time I sit here and think, I'm going to sell all this crap and just disappear.
Are we going to a commercial break? Is that?
I'm pulling it out at 40 minutes. We're at 37, and this is a 12-minute track. And since we're talking about, work that stands on its own 20-some years later, I mean, I thought I'd, kind of lead
There we go.
that. I want to go back to the dancing salsa guy. I mean, he's just moving and grooving. I mean, that's my boy right there. He reminds me of somebody, I don't know who it is, but it'll come back to me. But no, man, I mean, this is the first attempt, the inaugural attempt at trying to stream something other than, a DJ set and maybe have some interesting talk. We got a couple questions, answered a couple questions. Hopefully helped somebody, and yeah, I don't know. Maybe we get inspired to do some stuff and do it again. I don't know. Something that we're talking about 20 years from now.
Yeah.
All right, man.
So what are you playing right now? What is that?
Master Blaster. It's the Master Blaster by DJ Pierre. Come on, man.
Oh, Pierre.
Can't go wrong with DJ Pierre. Come on. Master Blaster. Turn it up on Strictly Rhythm. Yeah, man. So let's...
I saw Pierre like 4 months ago.
Yeah.
I can't say.
All right. On that note,
Yep.
we can...
We'll just leave it at that. Sorry.
All right. Well, we'll take it on and do it again someday soon, if anybody wants us to. We'll go from there, man. It's good talking to you. Let's talk again soon. All right, man. Peace.